Let's try to figure out a rule for taking the derivative of a sum of two functions. So here I'm asked, what is the derivative of f of x plus g of x? So let me refer to this sum as capital F of x. So capital F of x equals little f of x plus g of x. I'm going to use the definition of the derivative to take the derivative of capital F of x. So f prime of x, which is also the derivative with respect to x, of little f of x plus little g of x. Well, if I apply the definition of the derivative, that's going to be the limit as h goes to 0 of f, capital F, of x plus h minus capital F of x all over h. That's just the definition of the derivative. But let's plug in our specific function. So this equals the limit as h goes to 0. So if I plug in the fact that capital F of x equals the sum of these two other functions, this is what it's going to look like. The limit as h goes to 0 of little f of x plus h plus g of x plus h minus, now I just have to subtract the function itself. So minus f of x minus g of x. So notice I distributed the subtraction sign to both parts of the function. And this is all over h. Now if I wanted to, I could regroup this expression in the following way. The limit as h goes to 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x all over h plus g of x plus h minus g of x all over h. Okay, so I kept the same terms, I just regrouped them in a different way. Now I have the limit of a sum. So remember back to when we learned about limit laws, the limit of a sum is the sum of the limits. So I can write this as the limit as h goes to 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x over h plus the limit as h goes to 0 of g of x plus h minus g of x all over h. So what are these two quantities? This first quantity is just the definition of the derivative of f of x. So this is f prime of x. And the second quantity is just the definition of the derivative of g of x. So this is g prime of x. So what we've just discovered is a rule for taking the derivative of the sum of functions. So that rule is the derivative with respect to x of f of x plus g of x equals f prime of x plus g prime of x. So the derivative of the sum is the sum of the derivatives.